I sit there and look at my life, and if I make money, it's how can I take every dollar I make and make more money with it.
Yes.
I look at it as my dollars as warriors.
Yes.
And I am the leader of the warriors. And if I have 1 million warriors, how are those warriors going to produce tenfold?
Have you read the book Buy Back Your Time? I
have not.
Bro, I'm going to send you that book. You have to read it.
Okay.
That book changed my life.
All right. I'm excited.
And your quality of life will be much better.
Bro, I know one thing, and I've heard it from a lot of people, and I don't think it's coincidence you're telling me this now, is time is a currency you can't replace. You can replace dollars. You can't replace time. And one thing that's important to me is spending a lot of time with my family, a lot of time with my friends, and my business.
Jacob, how we doing, brother?
I'm great, man. Happy to be here.
Dude, absolutely stoked for this podcast. Welcome to Florida, by the way.
Thank you. I've been waiting to get down here and shoot this with you, so I'm excited.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. Well, let's dive right into it. So you're very successful sports card trading. Let me ask you, when you first got into it, did you expect you'd turn it into the business it has amassed to?
Absolutely not. When I first got into it, it was like, I'm selling $5 cards for $20. I'm maybe mailing a card out to an athlete to have him sign it. When it comes back, it might be worth $80 to $100. And I'm just trying to build up a $5,000, $10,000 sports card collection.
Yeah.
Now it's at the point where, it's almost unbelievable what God has done in my life with it. So
multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it for?
About 7 years.
So quite a while.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing income. Like, how much are you going to make this year? If not, we can bleep it out.
Well, this year I project to do over 50 million in sales.
Let's go.
So
a lot of volume.
A lot of volume, and margins are pretty well.
Yeah.
So
let's go. Okay. At what point were you looking at it and you're just looking at the business? You're like, dude, this is massive.
Honestly, once live selling came into play. So one thing Gary Vee used to always talk about in all his videos was how live selling is just going to take over the world.
Yeah. And
I believe that to the core. You'll see anybody on TikTok Shop, on Whatnot, on Fanatics Live, just live selling 10-second, 30-second sudden death auctions, and that's where I've done well. It's Whatnot. Yeah. I do a lot of 5-second, 10-second, 15-second auctions where if I'm selling a $5 card 5 seconds or a $10,000 card 5 seconds, it doesn't matter. I build up the clientele, build up the reputation where people want to come to your show and spend the time and money there. They're going to not only have a lot of fun, they're going to get really good cards, and they're going to want to come back.
So creating an experience.
Creating an experience that they want to tune into every week.
Because people want to feel like they're along for the journey.
Exactly. And that's part of what I'm excited to start creating now. Is I'm actually launching a new company too, calling it Boss Sports, tribute to my grandma. Her last name is Boss, and it's like she was the first person to believe in me in the sports card game. She was the person to take me to the shows when I had nothing, when I couldn't drive, when I had $200 in my name. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go all in, and I'm gonna tribute this to her. And I know that I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and we're gonna have a lot of success. So
let's go. Your grandma sounds like a boss.
Dude, she was a boss.
And it's just a great name too.
Nice.
And so, at what point were you look? What did your parents think when you first started pursuing this?
I love this story. So my parents they were always skeptical. They always believed me. I'll tell you that for sure. They always believed in me, but I don't think they realized what it could be. And I made a deal with my mother in college where it's like, hey, I'm going to school to be an accounting degree. I have an accounting and a finance degree. I'm double majoring. And I was about 3 years into college at Eastern Michigan. And my mom says, you know what? If you show me a pay stub or if you show me $1 million, I will let you drop out of college. And I'm like, okay. 3 months, 4 months later, I showed it to her. I'm like, Mom, look at this. She's like, boom. Right there on the spot, I was done. Done with college. I got my associate's degree in case I ever fail. No, I'm not worried about that. But I will, I'll never go back to college. I would never even push that on anybody at this point. I'm like, you could make so much money yourself just by believing in yourself. And my life was a testimony to that.
What's the most adversity you faced building your business?
The most adversity I faced was honestly getting in trouble with business partners, and just one thing that I've really learned a lot about is money management. You know, when I started to make a lot of money and I'd be spending millions of dollars daily.
Yeah.
Not daily, weekly. I was spending, $150,000, $200,000 daily.
Yeah.
It's like so many times I over leverage almost. And I would over leverage in situations where I'm not looking at the world perspective. You know, if we got a war going on, people aren't going to be spending as much money on sports cards. If we got a lot of things that affect the dollar, affect people's income, maybe it's not the best time to be spending a ridiculous amount of money. And I give a lot of props to a lot of help that I've had along the way, where I've been able to look at the market and be like, hey, this is a great time to be cash heavy, so that when the next deal comes or when a market crash happens, I'm able to hop in some more cards at a discounted rate. We had one time during, it was like the flash crash, maybe in October, where everything just dumped. The whole stock market dumped. It was just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I was set up perfectly for that. I had a ton of cash. People were selling sports cards. People were not buying as much. I was like, I'm buying Kobe autos. I'm buying Jordan autos. Buying the greats for 80% market, which 80% market in today's terms is a steal. People want to pay 100% of that stuff all day. Sometimes they pay more.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that. Was there ever a certain point where you see six figures going out daily? You're like, dude, I'm spending millions a week investing back into my business. Was there ever a point where you're like, dang, this is a lot?
Oh, dude, all the time. It's like I've had times where I just get a call from American Express I'm at the Dallas card show, just buying cards for my show that I'm going to run the next day, because I'm spending everything on my credit card. They call me, they're like, you're over your preset spending limit. And then I call them, and I'm on the phone with them for an hour. I'm like, but you say I have an unlimited spending limit. It says unlimited right here. Why is it giving me, like, why is it saying I have a preset limit when I spend $250,000? Like, I'm so confused here. I need to be able to access this. So then I'd have to, wait a day, because then I have to wire the money back to American Express so they could free up my card again. And it's like the amount of money that would go out sometimes, it's just, it was hard to keep track of. Honestly, it was, especially with cards. Like, you don't know what you could buy $1 million in cards, and that could look different in different ways. You could have a ton of cards, or you could have 2 cards. It just depends.
Yeah.
So it's the inventorying of it all is hard.
Yeah, dude. I've always been curious to max out, and I'm a heavy spender.
Yeah.
Most of it's back into the business. And I've never gotten I've ran my Amex up, and I've never gotten a call from Amex saying, "Hey, you've hit your limit."
Dude, it's
on spend.
I got a call from Amex yesterday, literally last night, where they're like, I went to send like a $500 payment just for I bought one card off a buddy who had it for sale, and I'm like, hey, I'll take this. And then I went to send it, said your card declined, and it said you'll be reached out, shortly. And then they called me 10, 15 minutes later, and they're like, you need to make a payment. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, I mean, I'll do it just to spend the money, but what's going on, guys? Why? I threatened to leave Amex. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to leave because I need the card.
You got to negotiate.
You got to negotiate with them. But
I've done the same thing. What drives me, what absolutely ruins my day, makes me more furious than anything else, is talking to the freaking credit card and call center Filipino reps that don't know. Dude, I get so, when I'm trying to send a wire, especially when I'm trying to send a wire, and I get called by the Chase Bank Filipinos. Dude, it is just, they're asking me questions. Like, it is a whole process to just send a dang wire through.
On my way.
And they're asking me questions, and if you don't follow it exactly and do the prompts and don't lose your cool in it, then hopefully you pray to God they'll get to the end so your freaking wire can get sent through. Now I just go into the branch at this point. It's like, it's not worth it.
Dude, on the way here today, I was on the phone for 45 minutes with Xfinity, because I was like, hey, I just bought a house. I'm going to be live streaming out of the house. I need the fastest internet possible.
Do you not have an assistant yet?
No, bro. Well,
dude, how do you not have an assistant?
Because it's just I've never thought of that. And I was like,
dude, I'll hook you up.
That would be huge.
We just interviewed we actually found she's got a UK. Well, we're actually going to send her a job offer, so she'll probably see this. She might see this, but dude, badass UK accent. She's a performer. She negotiated. She's going to get
that's
like
fire.
top of her salary. But having an executive assistant. I've been having assistants for the past 3 years now,
okay.
Bro. It makes your life tremendously better.
Really,
dude. It's Jacob. You will make knowing your income and the status you're at. You will make multiple millions more per year having an assistant working for you, because the thing that saps and drags down your time is just all the little stuff.
Yes,
dude. And I don't know how you do it. Like if I had to talk to Xfinity for 45 minutes, I would punch a wall.
I wanted to. The guy I think he was an Indian. I couldn't understand him half the time. I'm like, bro, like what? I can't. Let me just drive my car and get to where I need to go. I don't want to have to argue over getting a payment down because I missed. I didn't add the number in my email right. Like,
dude, if I literally, bro, I don't do anything. I do nothing besides work and do like if you talk to my parents, they'd probably say because I'm bougie or I'm lazy or whatever. No, dude. I don't go to the grocery store. I don't cook my meals. I don't vacuum my house. I've never mowed my lawn. I don't schedule the pool people to come out. I don't deal or worry about anything. And I put all that time and energy back into my business.
I love that.
Even our agents, I said, hey, once you start making $20,000 a month, hire an assistant immediately.
Yeah.
Because think about how much your time is worth. Let's say let's say it's worth a lot more than this, but let's say even on the low end, your time was worth $100 an hour. It's like, then that means if I can pay somebody less than $100 an hour to do this task, it's actually saving me money because then I can allocate my time instead of being on the phone with Xfinity for 45 minutes. I can work on building my business and higher leverage activities. Have you read the book Buy Back Your Time?
I have not.
Bro, I'm gonna send you that book. You have to read it.
Okay.
That book changed my life.
All right, I'm excited.
Your quality of life will be much better.
Bro, I know one thing, and I've heard it from a lot of people, and I don't think it's coincidence you're telling me this now, is time is a currency you can't replace. You can replace dollars. You can't replace time. And one thing that's important to me is spending a lot of time with my family, a lot of time with my friends, and my business. And I like to combine all that. You know, if I could combine all that, I could provide for my family and my business. I could invite my friends into my business, help them scale as well. Well, then that's real success for me.
Yeah, I just watched a reel today by Justin Waller. It popped up in my feed. And I talk about this all the time. Very similar. I was like, I've been saying this for... I was like, Justin Waller copied me. I've been saying this for months. He didn't really, but he's like, yeah, cooking will make you poor. He talked about if you cook, you got to go to the grocery store, pick out your groceries, go home, prep the food, make the food, clean up. And it's costing you hours and hours and hours and hours a week of your life that you could have spent doing other things and getting your time and money back.
That's real.
A wise man once told me, you're never going to build a big business being a one-man show. People try, you're never going to, same concept of you're never going to save your way to wealth. You invest and you spend your way to wealth. So you have to invest in the right employees, the right staff, the right partners, and form strategic alliances to get you to the point where you get to that place.
That makes a ton of sense. There's a lot of conviction going on in my head right now. I really do value that advice because you really can't. I've always been the biggest believer. You look at any big business, especially in the sports card business, nobody does it on their own. You could run $1 million business, but you can't run $100 million business on your own. You can't.
Yeah. So I want to dig deeper back into that question that you asked that we were talking about earlier. Because I want to know where you developed this mindset, because we're both from the Midwest and we're both from small rural areas. And for me, I grew up in a small town, less than 1,000 people. The average income there is $32,000 a year. Yeah. So in my mind as a kid growing up, if I saw somebody making $100,000 a year, I'm like, oh, dude, they're rich. Yeah. They're rich. Yeah. And then you go from that to, and that was my mindset of like, dude, like one day if I could only make $100K, like then I'll be set. And then coming into the business that we've came into, we invested well over $1 million back in the business last year. So from as a kid being my aspirations is to make $100,000 a year. Well, dude, now we have $100,000 a year just in expenses coming in. And for me personally, to be honest with you, and I don't know, it may just be belief in myself or be a little bit psychopathic or whatever the case may be. I'm not really sure. I've honestly never had an issue with it. Like it genuinely like doesn't even bother me. Like ever since I came into this business, they said, "Hey, spend $1,000 a week into leads." I did that. Didn't even question it off the rip. And it's always been, how can I invest more? How can I invest more? How can I get to the next level? How can I get to the next level? And so I'm curious. More of a selfish question for you is, have you ever did it take time to develop this mindset, or is it just something like you always kind of had and you were just like, you go as you grow type of thing?
For me, it's like I sit there and look at my life, and if I make money, it's how can I take every dollar I make and make more money with it.
Yes.
I look at it as my dollars as warriors.
Yes.
And I am the leader of the warriors. And if I have 1 million warriors, how are those warriors going to produce tenfold? I like to look at biblical principle with this, where, the guy was given money. There were 3 guys given money. One put it in the ground. One went and doubled it. One went and 4 or 5x the money.
Yes.
And it's like, that's how I want to look at my money. Whether that be, crypto, real estate, sports cards.
Not to cut you off, can I touch on that?
Yeah.
So I was with family in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we were actually talking about that exact parable at dinner on Saturday night. And I remember sharing, because we were talking about that parable. And as a kid, I remember hearing that in church, and as a young man, and I never understood what that meant. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I was kind of thinking, well, this guy all he did was keep it safe and guard it. And he returned it to God. It's like, why would God, that's kind of selfish. Why would God do that? He was just trying to be a good steward with it. Mm-hmm. But then as I grew and developed, I learned, the parable wasn't about money. The parable is about the talents that God gives us. Mm-hmm. And it's evil and it's wicked to waste the talent that God gives you. And so what I've learned through that is, and I've seen this firsthand in my life, that if God can't bless you with the small blessings that he's given you, well, then why would you expect him to bless you with more?
Exactly. So for me, it's like, if I look at the little things that God's given me, whether that be, let's start small. Let's start with my tiny sports card business. How am I going to operate this business? If I start by, treating it poorly, not taking care of my cards, like seriously, not taking care of the condition of my cards, not, portraying them off as valuable to the people I want to sell them to. Well, what's going to happen if I run a way bigger business where, if I'm running $100 million a year business, how am I going to portray those cards to the future clients of those cards? It comes down to how you take care of your assets, how you take care of your wealth, and how you multiply it. One of the biggest things for me is multiplying it every possible way. I've been recently introduced to leverage. That's I was told by a very, very, very wise man, one of my mentors in the sports card business, to avoid leverage at all costs. I didn't do that. I have been really interested in leverage, but on a small scale. So, you could, leverage crypto, you can leverage, real estate, your stock portfolio. But the big thing that I've been into is leveraging your crypto, where it's like, hey, you could have 100% ownership, leverage 2% up to 86%. And, if you leverage 86%, you're risky. But for me, it's like, okay, if I leverage 20%, that means it has to lose almost 60% value for me to get liquidated, which is very not likely going to happen. Definitely could, but unlikely to happen. Then with that extra 20%, let's say I have $500,000 in there, I could pull out another $80,000 at 20% and have $80,000 to go put into whatever I decide to go put it into that's going to go to war for me. If I take a loan out at 2% interest, because interest rates are very low when you loan out the crypto, I go put in an asset that earns me 10%, well, I'm effectively creating 8% for free every day. Or not every day, every year.
Yep. Yeah. That's one thing that I haven't done yet, but I'm amassing. What do you borrow your crypto on?
There's a lot of different exchanges. You want to use decentralized exchanges.
Yeah. Thoughts on the Coinbase borrowing?
Coinbase borrowing, it sucks. The only reason it sucks is because they use Morpho, which is an exchange.
Okay.
And they charge you. So if you borrow like $100,000, they're going to charge you $3,000 on top as a Coinbase fee, when Coinbase uses Morpho, when you could go directly to that site yourself and use it through a decentralized exchange and pay a lot less of a fee.
Got it. We'll have to talk more about that offline. What got you into crypto investing?
Honestly, what got me into crypto investing was the lightning fast transactions. I'm a big believer that at sports card shows, that's going to be the form of currency in the next 5 to 10 years, I think.
Oh, for sure.
People, obviously people send PayPal, Zelle, wires. There's been so many times at shows where I've had a guy leave me a $100,000 package, and they trust me, they trust my reputation. They're like, hey, just wire me, in 3 days when I get home, and I do. But it'd be a lot easier if I could just be like, hey, you know what? Everyone accepted crypto. Let me send you Bitcoin. It'll take a minute. It'll hit your account. Boom, done. Or you want XRP? It'll take 3 seconds. Here it is. It's a lot easier to get your money. A lot easier to get it faster. And
even
I like
doing
to move
business
fast.
now, like I was talking about, just trying to send a wire.
Trying to send a wire. You got to pay a fee. You got to go.
You got to pay a fee. It takes days.
Mm-hmm.
I got Chase Bank calling me, asking all these questions about my entire origin story of things I don't even remember, of like, how many miles was on your 2016 Chevy Impala that was your first high school car, and how many miles was on when you bought it versus when you sold? I'm like, I don't remember. Okay, sorry, we can't. And then you gotta like go repeat the whole. It's a whole thing. Like I was just trying to send a wire last week, dude. It took probably an hour of my time when I could have just boom sent Bitcoin, done instantaneously.
That's why Trump and his family said we got debanked. The bank wouldn't give them money. Well, they say, well, you know what? We're going all in on crypto because it's lightning fast and you could borrow against it. For me, I had a buddy in cards who one of my really close friends who I do a lot of deals with, a lot of weekly transactions. He's like, Jake, can you keep paying me in crypto? And I'm like, of course. You know what? I'll send him I sent him 40,000 USDC 2 days ago. I just sent it to him and boom, just like that. Literally 4 or 5 seconds later, it's in his account. He's like, dude, this was way better than a wire, because then he can instantly transfer it out if he chooses to. It's like, I think crypto is going to revolutionize the world in every business.
100%. Eventually, everything will be backed by the blockchain. The real reason why crypto is a game changer is because of the technology behind it, which is the blockchain.
Absolutely.
What cryptocurrencies are you the most bullish on?
Oh, bro. I am 100% the most bullish on XRP, without a doubt. I like XRP. I like Solana. I like World Liberty Finance. And I'm also big on HBAR. And a sleeper one that a lot of people don't think of is Ondo. They're backed by BlackRock, and they do a lot of tokenization of real-world assets. And I think the real-world asset tokenization is going to basically 100, 200, 300x the whole market, which in a perfect world, that's what happens. But, we don't know what tomorrow holds. But those are the ones I'm big on.
Nice. Okay. When did you first start crypto investing?
I started crypto investing probably 5 years ago. I was actually, take that back.
2020? 2021? So you haven't been doing it that long.
I started investing when Bitcoin was about 5K. I don't know when that was.
Nice.
And I didn't invest anything. I maybe had $10,000 to my name, and I was in my friend's room because my friend had like 4 Bitcoin. It was crazy. And I was like, dude, should I buy some? He's like, yeah. So I ended up buying like $300 worth of it, and I just held it. It ended up turning out to be like $5,000-$6,000 now. I ended up selling it along the way, but that's when I started. Then I met some guys.
Always, I sold it before it popped.
Dude, I sold it way before it popped. Then I
have so many buddies that are like, dude, yeah, at one point I had 100 Bitcoin, I had 200 Bitcoin.
Dude, I got
and it's every single time, dude, I sold it right before it popped.
One of my card buddies, I was talking to him about crypto, and he's like, dude, I still have 180 Bitcoin. I'm like, what? He showed it to me on his ledger. I'm like, dude, why are you selling cards right? Like, why are you not on a beach? He's like, because I love cards. And I'm like, I love that.
Hey.
But no, I mean, the crypto market in general, I was in it for a long time, and then my friend introduced me to dollar cost averaging. This is when I was 18. Yep. He's like, look, just $5 a day. I started with $5 a day. I got all the way up to $1,000 a day in Bitcoin, and it's like, okay, I believe in this technology. I believe in the future, and from there, I mean, we're still here today, and still, we might be in a down market now, but the summer market last summer was insane, and I think we're not even close to the top. Not even close.
Bitcoin went on a mat. We were just everybody was waiting for the altcoins, altcoin season, and it never came.
Bro,
You think we're? You think it's gonna sit for a little bit, or do you think
I think
altcoins are gonna pop off?
I think altcoins are gonna pop off huge, absolutely huge.
Well, eventually, but I'm talking in the
short term.
Short term.
In the short term, not necessarily. I think in the short term, everything does kind of follow the trend of Bitcoin. I think until crypto and all of the crypto regulation, there's still a lot of things going on in the world where it's like, hey, you can do this, Clarity Act, all this mumbo jumbo in the news. Until it's like full blown locked in, this is what we're doing. I don't think you're going to see, a real pop off like a $200 XRP. I don't. I think that's going to have to follow the trend of the actual clarity in the crypto market, where I think you'll see Bitcoin go first. I think you'll see a lot follow it. I think you see a $500,000 Bitcoin before you see XRP at $100.
I agree.
But
when do you think we're gonna have another bull run?
Oh, I would say we have another bull run. I believe we'd have another bull run within a year. But
really?
Oh yeah.
That soon?
Mm-hmm. I think as the debasement of the currency continues, as you see oil spike, you see gold spike, you see everything spike, cards spike. Cards are ridiculously high right now. When you see a lot of alternative assets or just other assets that are not the dollar spike, I think you see people trusting the dollar less. And I think,
correct.
If the dollar depreciates 9% a year, whatever it is, you can't even keep up with inflation with today's rate. Kids my age, I know so many people, even family members who are trying to buy a home, trying to buy a house, and they won't be able to until they're like 30, because
correct,
they can make $50,000 now, but that's not going to do much for them. That's like that's like the average nowadays, and you can't really live off that, especially if you have a family. Correct.
Inflation's at an all-time high. Trust of the U.S. dollar is at an all-time low. We're having one of the largest generational wealth transfers that we're ever going to see in our lifetime happening right now. So when the wealth gets transferred to our generation, where do you think they're going to be putting that money?
I'll just say simple as this. You can have all, I love my father. My father's a great man, taught me a lot, everything I know. But a lot of time, he's got his money in Fidelity, he's got his money in Vanguard, whatever he has it in.
Your 401k will not make you rich.
Your 401k will not make you rich ever. And everybody who has their 401k in their account, all these 60, 70, 80-year-olds, the sad truth is they will pass, and all that money will flow to the children. And by the time that does flow, I think you see a lot more banks saying, hey, we're going to use stablecoins. We're going to use stablecoins instead of dollars because we want to de-dollar. We don't want to even print this. We want to save the trees. We don't want to print these dollars because we want to save the environment. So let's just use our stablecoins. And at the end of the day, you're going to see a lot more digital transactions, a lot more instant payments. You go on Amazon right now, you press one button and you can order it. That's through your credit card. Now, if you just press one button and sent directly through crypto, actually, I'm going off topic here, but my brain is spewing right now. I'm telling you, Jonah, right here, AI stablecoin agents. You can use your AI agents. They can't use your credit card to make a payment. They can use crypto to make payments. You can use your AI agents to send money. They'll be able to send money through the blockchain, because if the blockchain is a central blockchain, money can just be transferred there instantly. But when you got to go through third-party institutions, Chase, American Express, all these other companies, Robinhood, it's going to be hard to move money instantly. But I think AI is going to take over the game with that. I really do.
I agree with that. AI and crypto are going to be directly correlated. What's the most amount of, going back to sports cards? Well, two-part question.
Okay.
What's the most amount of money, first of all, since we're on the topic of crypto? What's the most you've lost in crypto?
Okay. Ooh. I'm down $500,000 this year.
I'm pretty close. I'm about right there.
I didn't lose it because I hadn't sold anything.
Hey, it's not a loss if you never sell.
Yep. Okay,
that's my philosophy.
So then we'll say the most I've technically lost is $50,000. I may or may not have put like $50,000 in Farcoin. Yeah.
That's not bad.
But I will say the most I made on crypto was also in a meme coin. And I don't even touch them anymore. Like I used to like.
I don't either.
It was like that BFS coin, that Super Bowl hype around BFS. I was in it like at like 10K market cap. I made like 80,000 on it in like 3 days. And the craziest thing is like I sold it early. Like I would have like, if I would have held it for another week, I would have turned 80. That 80K profit would have been like 2 million profit.
Dang.
It was like, but I was happy with 80K. I'm like, I'm not gonna complain. This is
still
free
had
money.
ahead.
Oh yeah, I would have been happy with 5K. I really would have.
Oh, for sure. For sure. What's the most you've lost on sports cards?
The most I've lost in sports cards is 60,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, no, because it's
not
like
bad
I try to stick in like the $50 to $100 market range because that's what people can afford. You don't have I have a lot of big clients who want $10,000, $20,000 cards, but I want what people can buy on the daily.
I'm sure that's where you make the most of your profit.
Absolutely,
Is in margin.
It's margin.
Not margin, volume.
It's volume is where it is. You know what? Especially if I buy it 95%, I could sell it 100%. And if I buy $5 million, well, what is that? 250,000 maybe? I don't know. Whatever the math comes out to, but
that's similar to our business model where, you'll have the whale of sales every now and then, and we have large high-end clients, wealthy clients, but we make the bulk of our revenue, and our income comes from middle American citizens. That just need $100, $200 life insurance policies.
Exactly.
Just volume.
No, but the biggest deal that I've lost money on in sports cards was an autograph signing I did. Anthony Richardson, Colts quarterback. He was supposed to be really, really good. I gave him like $65,000 to do a signing for us, and he ended up just getting hurt. Then he came back from his injury, wasn't too great. Got hurt again. I don't even know if he's on the team anymore. And now those cards I still actually probably have half of them. I kind of just use them as giveaways at this point. It's like I can't really do anything with them. I could like sell all of them on eBay and sell them all for like $2,000, like all 1,000 of them, or I could just give them away and people would be happy with a giveaway, especially if they're a Colts fan. Who knows? Yeah. So. Yeah.
You'd get a better long-term ROI on just giving them away.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking on those. So.
Got it. How has your I want to talk about your faith for a minute.
Yeah.
How has your faith helped your business?
Drastically. This business is full of people who are all in it for themselves. I would say I am sometimes still, and that's kind of where it's like I need to humble myself a little bit, correct myself, know that my purpose isn't to build my own brand, it's to build the kingdom of Christ. And I want people to look into my business. I want people to see my business and be like, oh, what's going on with this Jake guy? He's got it all put together. I don't have it put together. I'm actually the most corrupt, wicked person in the world. Christ just saved my life. He's changed the person I am. If you look at who I was and what I was doing and how I was conducting myself and how I was treating people, I don't want people to see that. Well, actually, I do want people to see that, and I want people to see the change. And, and then I could point that glory only to Christ, because one thing that I have been struggled with, and a lot of people know it in the sports card community, is I struggled with weed constantly. It was about addicted for like 5 to 6 months every day in a row. Addicted. Like I couldn't stop. I tried. I couldn't stop. And then just God woke me up. It's like you got to be sober-minded all the time. I want to be a high performer. I want to be successful. I want to lead a family one day. I want to be a husband one day. And if I can't even lead myself, I ain't going to be able to lead a business. I'm not going to be able to lead a wife. How am I going to be able to grow in my faith from there?
What have you learned about leadership since you've been building a business?
Learning leadership is something that it's new to me. It really is. And the thing that's really been on my heart and mind with it is I have to be the one to do the work. I have to be the one who's going to work the hardest. That's something I admire about you all the time is, I see a lot of people say they want something, but then they don't do it. Mm-hmm. And, I saw you made a post one day about, I'm not trying to compete with, guys my age. I'm trying to compete with, 50-year-olds. And it's like, these guys have already done the work. And if you want to compete with those guys, you got to put in the work. And like that's something that I want people to look at in me and be like, look, this guy puts in the work. He says he wants something, he's gonna go do it. If I say I want to get a life insurance policy, I'm gonna go do it the next day. I don't want to wait. I don't want to waste my time because, like you said, time is valuable.
Do as you say, not what I say. Do as you do. And so the most important thing about leadership is being able to lead from the front, because your business will never outperform your level of belief. It's called a belief lid. And so if you have a low belief lid, you're going to have a low level business. If you want to have a high level business, you need to have a high level belief lid. And the only way to do that is by leading from the front, putting in the work. Dude, I get here, I'm the first one to if somebody beats me to the office, I'm pissed. I have to be the first one to the office to get here. So if people get there at 8, I get there at 7:30. If people straight in there at 7:30, I get there at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was living in Chicago, we opened our first office. I was psychotic. I would get there at 6:30 a.m. I'm like, I have to be the first one here. And so I was the first one there. I was the last one to leave. Now these guys are savages, especially since we're on the East Coast. I'm not always the last one to leave now, but it's stacking those habits. And if you want to have a high level business, the truth is you have to be that dude that never misses. You're on point, not only in business, but also with your health, with your personal development, and you have to be well-rounded in all the aspects of life. Not only just because nobody wants to be that dude that makes a lot of money, but you're fat.
Yeah.
Or your wife hates you.
Yep.
Or you have a shitty relationship with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not an ethical person. So you have to be well-rounded in all areas. And what I would define as true wealth, true success and happiness is not only wealth financially, but do you have wealth? Or do you have a good relationship with God? How's your spiritual life? Are you in good physical shape? Do you have a visible six-pack? How's your relationship with your wife or your spouse or your kids or your family? And then lastly, what is the level of success of your business?
Yeah.
Like if you can show me somebody that has a good relationship with God, their spiritual life in check, has a visible six-pack, has a good relationship with their family, and has a successful business, that's somebody that I consider successful.
And to top off on that, it's like surround yourself with people you want to be surrounded with. You know what? I could surround myself with people who are very successful. I could. If you want to just talk of success, of monetary success, I could surround myself with that. Well, that's going to lead me down paths that I don't want to be down. I don't want to be 40 and I don't want to have a pudding. I don't want to have tits. I don't. At the end of the day, I want people to look at me and I want to be like, dang, that dude's 40? That dude puts in the work. That dude also shows up to work on time. That dude is also there before everyone else gets there. I want people to look at my life, how I conduct myself, be like, I don't know that dude's got to be on something. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm on the grind. That's what I'm on.
Amen to that. What a good note to end on.
Yeah.
We're out of time, but dude, I could go all day. Brother, this was truly an honor. Thank you for hopping on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, I got to say this lastly. Just having guys like you in your life where not only are you highly successful in business, but to capitalize on what I was just talking about, just you push and motivate me to get better. Because I see not only are you making a lot of money, but more importantly, you're a good steward with the money that God has blessed you with. You're always, dude, it's not like, you're not out here buying Louis Vuitton or buying supercars or blowing the money or at club. No, you're thinking, dude, like our conversation before this podcast was, what is the best way I can allocate this money? How can I let my money grow for me? How can I help and impact other people with this money? First time we met was in Mexico.
Yeah.
Pastor Sammy at the orphanage. So that was a great trip, by the way.
It was.
And so I love you, brother. I look up to you. I respect you. And I'm excited to see what God has in store for his life. He definitely has his hand of blessings on you.
Love you, man.
Let's get it.
Yep.
Boom.
There we go. Come on.